Why, hello everyone. Hello. If you don't know this voice by now, then you must be living under a rock. What is up, guys? It is James, aka Jimmypancakes20, back here to do another episode of the Jimmypancakes20 Show. And this episode is episode 7. And this is one that I know a lot of people have been waiting for a long time. This one is our second impressions video / podcast for when my mom and I went to Halloween Horror Nights for the second time, which was on October 5th, 2023. And I know a lot of people are wondering, what the heck has happened? Why haven't you put this video up when you originally said you were going to put this video / podcast up? Well, I've been super busy, guys. So, if people don't know, I do have a normal daytime job, which I work full-time at, and so sometimes I get super busy with my regular daytime job. So, sometimes I can't put videos up right away and podcasts up right away. Sometimes I'm super busy with work. Sometimes I don't have time to post on my social media sites updates. So I want to apologize. I'm trying to do better, but sometimes I just get super busy with my normal daytime job. So I try to keep you guys informed on my social media sites. So definitely, if you want the latest updates on what's happening, definitely please follow me on my social media sites. The links will be down to the bottom of this video / podcast. You can follow me on Facebook, you can follow me on Twitter, and you can follow me on Instagram. Well, Twitter is now known as X, formerly known as Twitter. But yeah, so that's why it's taking so long to do this podcast / video. But I'm here now, and I'm here with my mom, Marsha, who joined me on that day. So, Mom, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And we're going to basically talk about what we did on the second night that we went to Halloween Horror Nights. So, if you guys want to know our first impressions video / podcast, that is already up on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and Amazon Music. Also, the video form is on YouTube. So in this podcast, / video, we are going to be talking about the last 3 mazes that we did not do on opening night. And we're also going to talk about the shows that we did. So we eventually have done everything at Horror Nights. And also, as I did mention, we will be going back on closing night on October 31st. So I will be doing a final vlog video of closing night, which will be posted sometime after closing night. Again, I will let you guys know on my social media sites. So this year I will be going to Halloween Horror Nights 3 times. So, Mom, if you are ready, let's talk about our second night of going to Halloween Horror Nights.
I am ready.
Okay. So, basically the 3 mazes that we did not do on opening night was Holidayz in Hell. We did not do The Last of Us, and we did not do Chucky's Insomniatorium. So those are the 3 mazes that we're going to be talking about in this podcast / video. We also, on opening night, did not do the 2 shows, which was Blumhouse Behind the Screams, and we did not do The Purge. We did do that on the second night that we did go. We also redid the Terror Tram, but we are not going to be talking about that one in this podcast / video, because we already talked about it on our first impressions video / podcast. So I guess we're going to start with the maze that was a complete repeat from 2019. Mom, do you want to say what it is?
Holidayz in Hell.
It was a complete,
from a couple of years ago, it's a repeat.
Pretty much, yeah. So, let's get to the notes, because, of course, I always have notes ready for you guys. So, Holidayz in Hell. This was located behind the Transformers ride where Killer Clown was last year. As we did mention, it's the exact same maze from 2019. If you went through the 2019 maze, it was exactly the same. So, here we go. The facade of this maze was a clock that was counting down to New Year's Eve. And then, of course, blood was coming. And then you saw two characters outside. You saw Father Time was on stilts. And you saw a party girl that was dead, a skeleton party girl. Your thoughts on that, Mom?
I'm glad they were outside interacting with you, waiting in line. That was wonderful. I like that.
Yeah, I would say that's the only thing that was different because when they did it in 2019, they did not have characters interacting with you outside. But the rest of the stuff was exactly the same. I think that would be the only new thing that they were doing.
That is correct.
Yeah. So, I enjoyed the facade. I thought it was going to be different, but, you know.
It wasn't.
It was exactly the same. So, here we go. As you entered the maze, you entered the first area, which was the New Year's Eve, where you walked in and you saw a giant cocktail glass with a dead skeleton in it, and you saw people that were partying for New Year's Eve. What did you think about that?
Same as last year. I already knew what was going to be.
Same from 2019.
Yeah.
It wasn't last year. It was
2019. It was okay. I already knew, but
yeah.
What can you do about it?
Really. The next room you walked into was the nursery where you saw an evil nurse holding a baby. I mean, well, honestly, I don't know what to say on that. It was exactly the same character.
Same.
Same, yeah. Next one was themed to Valentine's Day, where you walked through the tunnel of love. You saw Cupid come out from the right, scaring you, and then to your left. So they had two characters that were popping out that were Cupid. And then you finally got into the scene where you saw Cupid taking a girl's heart out, and then her boyfriend that was tied up against the wall. So, the exact same scene you saw in 2019.
I really can't say anything about that one.
I really can't say anything on that one because that was what we saw. So, I really can't really say anything on that. Exactly the same. Next one was St. Paddy's Day or St. Patrick's Day if you're from Ireland, where you went into a leprechaun's house, you went into the forest, and then of course you saw the evil leprechaun and he was trying to kill you because you were trying to take his pot of gold. Pretty much That's what it was.
The same.
The same. That one was themed to Easter, where you saw a whole bunch of Easter eggs, and there was children that were stuffed in them, and you saw some bunny legs coming out, and then there was a Easter bunny that was to your right, which had a child on the lap, and then you saw the live actor of the Easter bunny come out and scare you. Pretty much the same. Your thoughts on that, Mom?
Pretty much the same.
Yeah. Next holiday was 4th of July, where you walked into a fire factory and you saw a person with his arms and legs blown up, and then you saw someone dressed as Uncle Sam come out and scare you. Pretty much the same. Pretty much the same.
Exactly. Same.
It was the same, yeah. That one was Halloween, where you were into a field and you saw these people with pumpkin heads. Some of them were dummies and some of them were live actors. Pretty much the same. Same. Next one was Thanksgiving, where you saw a family that was in their dining room having Thanksgiving dinner, but all of them were dead because the turkey was killing the family. Pretty much. Same. And then the final one was Christmas, where you saw an evil version of Santa Claus and 3 people dressed as evil elves, and you were walking through an area that had lots of Christmas trees.
Same.
Pretty much the same, everything. Honestly, if you did not see this maze in 2019, it was brand new. But if you saw it in 2019, I pretty much figured it was going to be the same. But I wanted to give it a shot. I thought it was going to be different, but it was the exact same layout that we had in 2019. So that's why we started this podcast with this maze, so we could get it out of the way. Your thoughts on Holidayz in Hell?
I mean, I liked it, don't get me wrong, but they need to change it up each year if they're going to do it again.
Yes.
Just put, like, new stuff in there so, like people like us can enjoy it more.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, pretty much, I really don't have anything to say, on this one. So, yeah, So, yeah, pretty much that's all I have to say. I will say we did forget to mention this, but we did do early entry. So we got the Last of Us and Holidayz in Hell done. And then we were going to do The Exorcist or Stranger Things again, but we didn't do it that night. We're definitely going to plan on doing those mazes on closing night.
Yes.
But the early entry did help get the 2 mazes that we did not do done, and then the rest of the time we spent upstairs.
Yes.
So, I guess let's move on. So, we are not going to do The Last of Us. That will be the last maze that we talk about in this podcast. Because I think this year is my favorite maze. But we still have closing night, because I won't tell you what my favorite was until the event is over. But,
me either.
But let's talk about the one that we did once we got back upstairs, which was one that we did not do on opening night, Chucky's Ultimate Kill Count. What did you think about that one before we got to the actual maze?
With all the boxes, like the toy boxes, that was the facade, And I thought that was wonderful.
Right.
And then they had Chucky moving around in each of the squares. That was really, really good when you were waiting in line.
Yes. So, Chucky's Ultimate Kill Count. We finally got to do this one. I think we only waited like 45 minutes for this one, so it wasn't...
I think it was like 45 minutes, yeah.
It wasn't bad. This was located in the H lot where Scarecrow the Reaping was last year.
Mm-hmm.
So as my mom already talked about, the facade for this maze was the Good Die Doll Factory where you saw productions of different Chuckies talking. And basically what the premise of this maze was basically they were building this house and Chucky came and saw the house both in Orlando and Hollywood, and the design team was telling him that it was going to be fake things, but he wanted to make it look real, so he started killing people. So that's pretty much what the premise of this maze was. So the first room that you entered, you were going into the Good Die Doll Factory. And as you entered the maze, you went past more of the Chucky Good Die dolls, and you saw two of the robotic Chuckies came out and scared you, and then you saw one of the workers from the Good Die Doll Factory. His eyes were out and replaced with doll eyes. What did you think about that scene?
That was a great scene. I really enjoyed it. When we walked through the Chucky maze, they scared me a lot.
Right.
But that scene I really liked.
Right.
What do you think of it?
I really did enjoy this one as well. I really thought it was a good scene. I really did enjoy it. It was bringing you into the world of Chucky.
Correct.
So, as we go forward, so there was different themes in this house. So you had these different theme areas that had a couple of rooms in it. So you left the Good Die Doll Factory, and the next couple of rooms were themed to home.
Yes.
Like if you were in your actual home. So, and also I should mention, as you were going to these different sections, you had Chucky that had these different monitors, and they were showing the kill count for how many people Chucky was killing. Made sense for the maze.
Yes, it did.
As you entered the first room that was themed to home, you walked into this living room and you saw someone on the couch being killed by Chucky, and you saw these dummies that were on the staircase that were also killed by Chucky as well. What did you think about that scene?
Wonderful scene. I wasn't expecting the killing on the staircase, but it was really, really good. I really liked the scare.
I really did too. It made you feel like you were in there. Yes. Then the next room you walk into is the kitchen. And you saw these dummies on your right of Chucky coming out and scaring you. And then you saw a live actress come out, and she was like, had these utensils that were stuck to her chest. Like Chucky took these different utensils from the kitchen and stabbed this person. Also, I should mention, you also saw some dummies that were like on the kitchen counter.
Of Chucky.
No, of people that he killed.
Yes.
In the kitchen. At the kitchen table. That's what I was trying to say.
Yes.
So then, the next room you walk into is the bathroom. And if anyone has seen The Bride of Chucky, you know that Chucky's girlfriend was taking the bath and she was watching The Bride of Frankenstein, and Chucky comes out of the cage and basically pushes the TV into the bathtub and kills his girlfriend, and then her soul gets transferred into the Tiffany doll. So you actually see that scene in this maze. But you don't see like a live actress, you just see these fake legs, and then Chucky comes out and scares you from the tub, and you see a doll of Chucky, or a doll of Tiffany, in that scene as well. So I thought that was a pretty cool scene.
Very well done. Scared the bejeebers out of me. And that was a great scene also.
Right. So then the next scene that you walk into is a hallway, and you see a dummy of another person that Chucky has killed. And then the final room that was for this theme of the home was, you were going into a basement and you saw a dummy of an electrician that was fixing these wires, and then there was a dummy of Chucky that had water coming out of his mouth, and it was water was hitting these cables, and it was shocking the dummy of the electrician.
Very well done. Scared me. When the guy was getting shocked, like, okay.
At first I thought it was a live actor, but then you realize it was a dummy.
That's what I thought too, James. But very well done. I like that scene.
I did too. So, and then the next one is themed to hospital. That's the next theme area. And the first room that you walk into is a patient's room, and there's a live actress that's on the bed, and then there's a robotic Chucky that's pretending to kill her in the bed. And then on your right hand side, you see another robotic Chucky pretending to kill a dummy of a doctor. And then after you get past the patient's bedroom, you see another mechanical Chucky come out, and he's in this box of syringes.
Because on that scene, I was looking at the patient, but I didn't know there was another scene with the doctor. I turned around, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. And that was the only room for the hospital. Then it translates into another area, and I guess this is for the Chucky TV show or something, because this really didn't make sense to me. But they were going for holiday, and the holiday that they did was Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So,
seems weird.
It seems weird, but I'm still trying to figure out, and this might be for the Chucky TV show. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Because James and me haven't watched the television show yet.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So, the last couple of rooms were themed to holiday Christmas. So the first room we walk into is the living room, where you see a Christmas tree, and then you see a dummy of Chucky on the couch, and then there's another one that comes out, and this is the scare in the room, where you see another dummy of Chucky come out of the chimney with a mini chainsaw.
Very well done. I was looking at the Christmas tree and all that, and then I turned around and saw Chucky and the
chainsaw
in the chimney. It's like, okay, I didn't see that scare.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you were looking around.
Yeah, I was not expecting that either myself. So, very well done. Very well done.
That room was very well done.
Exactly. And then the next room you walk into is the dining room where you see an actress, a live actor, cutting with a chainsaw, killing Chucky on the table. So,
getting revenge on Chucky.
I guess so, yeah. And then this final room, I think, was the best room of a maze that I've ever walked through. So the last room is, I don't know if you're supposed to be in a forest or it's supposed to be the backyard of the house.
Yeah.
I was still a little confused on this. But you had all these Chucky heads that were on these trees, and then there were so many mechanical Chuckies coming from you to the right and the left. Now the one that I was not expecting, and you know where I'm going with this, Mom.
Just say it.
A giant person, or it was a mechanic. I don't know if it was a live actor or if it was a giant mechanic, but it was a giant Chucky that came out and was trying to get you. That was the best scare I've ever got in a maze.
Me too, James.
I was not expecting this.
Because I was looking around at those heads and then the mechanical one or the live actor.
The big giant Chucky came out and just
like, okay, goodbye. I wasn't expecting that, James. But it was very, very good.
I was like, no fucking way. And I remember after we got out of the maze, I was like, because I think you and I were debating, was that a live person or was that a puppet?
Yeah, we didn't really know, James, if it was a live person or a puppet.
Oh, I think that was one of the best scares I ever got.
Yes, I looked at the giant puppet. It's like, okay, goodbye.
And that was the final room in the Chucky's ultimate kill count. So, your thoughts on Chucky?
I really, really liked it. Especially that last scare with the mechanical or the live actor, the big Chucky. I really liked this maze.
I was like, oh.
James, what's your thoughts?
I really enjoyed this maze. I really did enjoy it. I really enjoyed this one. I was not expecting that giant Chucky at the end.
Neither did I, James.
Yeah.
But very well done.
Very well done. Very excellent. I just yeah. Alright, so we're going to get to the final maze that we did for that night. And this was the one that we started the night with, because this was one of the mazes that was open during early entry, The Last of Us. Now, I want to do some things to let you guys know, because a lot of people want to debate on this. So I'm going to give you the facts right now before we even get into what the maze was. It was confirmed by Neil Druckmann, who helped create the video game. This maze that was both in Hollywood and Orlando was based off the first video game. It was not based off the HBO TV series. Both the one in Orlando and Hollywood, it was based off the Pittsburgh section of the video game. And I've played the video game, okay?
And I watched you play the video game.
And you watched me play it. Yes. So it is based off the Pittsburgh section of the first video game. Yes, you did have some hunters in this maze. You did have a lot of infected. You did have 2 bloaters, and you did have face characters of Joe and Ellie. So I just want to set the record straight because a lot of people were confused about that. And Neil Judman did confirm on his social media sites, as well as Universal Studios Hollywood, did confirm that this is based off the video game, not the TV show. And both mazes were based on the Pittsburgh section of the first video game. So, now let's get into The Last of Us. First, what did you think about it? Before we get even into
I really liked it because I did see you play the first game. So I kind of understood it.
Mm-hmm.
Very well done, but when we go to section, I'll tell you my opinion. But I really liked it.
Yeah, honestly, I was finally happy when we got to see this maze. I was like, the only way that we were gonna get this maze was by doing early entry.
Yes.
You and I ran down to this maze, and it's like, this is the first maze that we're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So here we go, guys. The Last of Us, this was located behind the Revenge of the Mummy. Okay? So, as we did kind of mention, the facade for this maze was the Pittsburgh outpost. And this is another one that had live actors that were interacting with you. Unfortunately, when you and I went through it, because the maze just opened, they didn't have the actors doing the scene as we went in.
Right. But hopefully when we go back closing night, we'll see Joe and Ellie interact with us.
Yes. So every 10 to 15 minutes, I don't know if they do it more often, but every 10 to 15 minutes, you'll have live actors that are playing Joe and Ellie will do a scene outside as you are entering the maze. I did see the footage on YouTube, so I know what it is. But I'm not going to spoil it for people because I want them to see what it is.
If they didn't go to Horror Nights yet.
And I kind of want to see it myself because from what I saw on YouTube, it could be different. So if we do see it on closing night, if not, then when we do our final review of Horror Nights, I'll tell you what the scene was.
Right. Got it.
As I did mention, the whole maze takes place in the Pittsburgh section from the game. This is not based off the HBO TV show, as we did mention. So, as you enter the maze, you are entering the Pittsburgh outpost. And you are going into these hallways, and you had these different signs that you saw that you would see from the outpost, like about the curfew and the rules and all this stuff.
Right.
That you saw from in the video game. Before we continue.
I like the signs. It tells, where you're going to be in the maze or in the game. Also, very well done, the first scene.
Mm-hmm. As you are about to get out of the hallway, you have your first scare where it's the first infected. And it's a live actor. The next room you walk into is you see Joe and Ellie more deeper into the outpost. And then they are attacked by the infected as well as the hunters. So you had Joe and Ellie like in the middle, and then on the left there was an infected that was coming, and then there was a hunter that was coming to the right. And the actor that was playing Joe had the crossbow.
Right.
And then Ellie had like a fake rifle. The next room you walk into is there's moments in the video game where Joe and Ellie are separated, and Ellie is either looking for Joe or Joe is looking for Ellie. So the next scene that you see is you see the actress of Ellie, and she's trying to look for Joe, and you hear Joe saying, "Hey, I will find a way down to you." So I like that they have a live actress that was like helping you, and then of course she's getting attacked by the infected. So you have that moment from the video games, which I really do like, because I played both The Last of Us Part 1 and The Last of Us Part 2. So if you have played the video game, you will like this maze. So that is the one scene. That was the next scene.
That was very well done.
Exactly.
I really like that scene.
The next room is you are now in the tunnels. Okay? And you see Joel that's trying to start a generator, and he's wearing the gas mask. So, for people that have not played the video game, there are these sections in the video game where you have to go into these tunnels or the sewer or deep inside these buildings, and there's this gas that is called the spores. And so the whole premise of this game is Ellie is immune to the virus. And so she can breathe in this thing and she's not going to get turned. Joel, on the other hand, he will turn. So anytime he has to go into these areas that have these spores, he has to wear this gas mask. So the scene that you're walking past, you see Joel by this generator, and he's trying to start it up, and he's wearing the gas mask, which I thought was very cool.
Very well done. Mm-hmm. Very well done. So far, this maze is very good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The next room you see another infected attacking you, and you see Joe and Ellie shooting them. You're still in the tunnels at this point. Yeah. The next couple of rooms, you're now even deeper into the tunnels. So you're now like deep in the tunnels.
Yeah.
And you start seeing the infected stuff on the walls. So as you're walking down this hallway with this stuff, you see a dummy of the infected on the left, and then you see a live actor come out and get you from the right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see Ellie again, and she is shooting the infected and is telling you to go. Like, get out of here. Yeah. And then you are finally out of the tunnels and you're onto the streets. So there's one section where you get out of these tunnels, and then you are on the street, but these hunters are attacking you, and they have this military vehicle, and there's one section of the game where you have to get past this tanks and these hunters and all this stuff. So they recreated this in the scene. So as you get out of the tunnel, there's hunters that are scare actors that are attacking you, and they have this vehicle that's like pretending to shoot at you, and you hear the sound of Joel saying, "Ellie, get down," and all. It's just amazing. So they recreated that scene in this maze.
Very well done. I really like that scene. I remember it from the video game.
Right.
And it was really, really well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then, you are in the sewers. Mm-hmm. And you see a whole bunch of dummies on the effective of the right, and then a lot of live actors ones come out and scare you. The next room you enter is the school room. So basically, when you're in the sewers, there's a scene where, in the game where you meet up with these two brothers called Sam and Henry. And basically, you are trying to get out of this outpost. And basically, there's this one room that you enter where it's the school room. And basically, Henry and Ellie are playing and stuff like that. And Joel and Henry are talking about
how to get out of there.
How to get out of there, and so they recreated the schoolroom from the game. And then, of course, from the left-hand side, the infected comes and scares you. And then you go into another hallway and you see Ellie trapped behind a locked door, and Joel is trying to get to her. And then you see Joel, and he's telling you to get out of here. And he's being attacked by infected again. And then the final room of the sewer, you see the bloater. And it's a live actor in the suit. And he's basically pretending to rip a person's head in half. Yeah. And bloaters is one of the toughest enemies in the video game.
To kill.
I failed multiple times when I got to those things with the bloaters.
You did.
Bloaters is the toughest enemy in the video games. And The Last of Us 1 and 2. And then, after you leave that scene, you go down the hallway. There's a bloater that's on a platform, and he tries to get you again. And then you walk down another hallway and you see another infected that scares you. And then as you were exiting the maze, you see dummies of Joe and Ellie going into another building. So you're finally out of the sewers. You made it out of the outpost. They're going into another building for safety. Because that's how it ends in the Pittsburgh section. You go into a building, and then eventually that's where they rest, and that's where you can save. So it's kind of that moment, okay, you're finally out, you're done with the section. And of course, for one last scare, an infected comes out from the left as you're exiting the maze. And that is the end of The Last of Us maze. Your thoughts first, because I have lots to say. Because I'm more the expert of this thing.
Very well done. They were scaring me left and right. I loved every scene in that maze. And I really, really like this maze. Scared me half out of my wits. James?
For me, I've played the video games. I've seen the HBO TV show. I'm telling you, like, they done it brilliant. Like, you really felt like you were walking through the video games. Especially that section. And bravo to Naughty Dog, bravo to Universal Studios Hollywood in Orlando. I've seen the Orlando version. I wish I could walk through it. I can only walk for the Hollywood one. But the videos that I saw for the Orlando ones, it's good. Hollywood one, was brilliant. I was really happy with it. I was surprised. Kids, I'm going to tell you, this is a franchise video game that millions of people have played. A lot of people have seen the HBO show. I didn't know which version they were going to do. Okay? But I'm so happy that they chose to stick with the roots with the video game.
Yeah.
A great section that they replicated. Very well done. As I said, this is one of my contenders for my favorite maze of this year's event, but I can't say it right now because I will be doing my rating for my favorite mazes from worst to best after closing out of Halloween Horror Nights.
I'll be rating them too.
As we do our final review of closing night, so that we're going to be doing all that stuff. But this one is a really contender. So
very well done. I really liked it, and they scared. Every scene, they scared me.
All right, so we're going to wrap up this podcast / video where we're going to talk about the 2 shows, and that was everything that we did. As I said, we also redid the Terror Tram, but we already talked about the feelings about the Terror Tram and our first impressions when we went on opening night. You can check out that podcast video that's up now. So, you want to start with the Purge or you want to start with Blumhouse?
Purge.
Let's start with the Purge and then we're going to end with the Blumhouse one. Alright, so Purge Deadliest Waters. Located in the Waterworld Q Arena.
I was hesitant about this stunt show because there was a lot of mazes for the Purge in years past. But I'll tell you how I feel about it after. It was really good. So, I'll tell you my feelings at the end.
So the Purge Deadliest Waters, located in the Waterworld Show Arena. So, if you're wondering why they didn't do a maze in this location and they're doing a show instead, as people know, they closed the animal actors and they closed the special effects show because that area is going to be home to a future Fast and the Furious roller coaster. So, they don't have that location to do a show anymore. For the past several years, that's where they have the Jabberwocky show and where the old special effects show used to be. And that's also where they did, for many years, they did Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. So they needed another show to get crowds away. So they decided to do a Purge stunt show in the Waterworld Arena. So that's why we have a show in the Waterworld.
And not a maze.
So, the premise of the show is this politician is on a secret island getting away from the annual purge, but eventually some people find out where he is and attack the island. That is basically the premise of the show. What did you think before I continue?
I like the premise of it. Excellent villains and the good people. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, yes. Now, just to be clear, there are some things that I did not write in my notes because for people that want to see it live, this is just a general idea of what it is. But there's some parts that I left out. So just to let people know.
Yeah.
As the show starts, you hear about the annual purge. Then you see the senator and his wife, her name is Beth. She's going to be important later at the end of the show. And his security team, which is led by Agent Dickie and his wife, Julie, I think was her name.
I think it was Julie.
Julie or Jackie. It was one of those names. Securing the area and talking about other stuff. Then the alarm that we know from the famous Purge movies goes off, and they do the new Founding Fathers. After the alarm, you hear a helicopter and you think it's part of their security team. But it's not.
There's a twist.
There's a twist. The Purgers attack the island, so there's this whole big battle scene where boats are coming in, there's helicopters, there's all this type of things. After the Purgers secure the island, the leader of the Purgers come out and ask where the senator is. The right-hand person of the security team named Dickie, or Agent Dickie, says he will never tell where the senator is because he's getting paid to protect the senator. So instead, the leader of the purge, people hits the wife's hand, and the wife's hand pretends to be broken. But then Dickie says, "I will never tell you," and another giant battle pursues. There's this long, giant battle that takes place.
Guns, fire,
everything. Then finally, the leader of the purge gets Dickie, and they're afraid to kill his wife. And finally, Dickie tells where the senator is. But eventually, they kill his wife, and then eventually kill
Dickie.
And then the senator finally shows up. And they want to kill
the senator.
Then Beth pretends to help the senator and tries to get him away from the island, but there's a twist. The leader of the purge says that their parents were killed, but you find out at the end that Beth, the senator's wife, is with the purgers and wants to kill the senator. So of course they do the famous fire divers. A fire diver is dressed up as the senator, and he does the 45-foot
drop to the water.
The senator is dead, and to end the show, they do a rave dance party, and then the show is over. So that was the Purge's Deadliest Waters. Your thoughts?
Okay, I was hesitant about the show. When I started watching it, I really liked it. I was totally surprised by myself. Great stunts, great actors. Everything was really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was surprised of how good the show was, because I was hesitant to see on opening night. You know,
we both were.
But after watching it live, it was really good. You know,
it was excellent.
It was really good, and I know you and I are planning to see it at least one more time on closing night.
Right, we are.
Yeah.
But really good stunts, really good actors.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Purge show was excellent.
Yeah. It was really good. I really did enjoy this one. Alright guys, so we're going to talk about the last thing that we did on the second night of Halloween Horror Nights, which we did the Blumhouse Behind the Screams.
I think we did that 3 times that night.
I think we did it 2 or 3 times. I don't remember.
Right.
But we did do that one a lot, because this show was only about a 15-minute show.
Right.
In total.
I think it was like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So basically this was located in the Kung Fu Panda show area.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically this was like behind the scenes look at Blumhouse movies. Yeah. So, as you enter the pre-show room, they had different props and costumes from different films, like the remake of The Invisible Man, Freaky,
The Black Phone,
The Exorcist Believer, which is now in theaters, props from Megan, and in the center of the room they had the animatronics from the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which is coming out, I think this weekend is when it opens.
Okay.
I think. They also had a photo op that you can take the photo with the killer from the Black Phone, which you and I did.
Mm-hmm.
We did. That was amazing.
Do that, yeah.
So after I think about 5 minutes letting people roam, the show actually began. And it began in the pre-show room where the host was talking about the props and about some of the history of the props and the costumes and stuff.
Well, James took a lot of pictures of the props.
Yes. That you can see in the video of our second night of Halloween Horror Nights. I filmed the room and stuff and some of the props and stuff. So if you want to check out what we're talking about, you can find it on the video form that's now on YouTube. And then eventually you went into the main auditorium. And for this one, he basically sat down and he's like, we're going to show you a behind the scenes look. They showed a couple of trailers for some of the movies, and then they showed a 30-second trailer of the new movie Five Nights at Freddy's.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, this was part of the show where the projector was not working. And he's like, I'll be right back. I'm going to find out what happened. And he's like, I have a room full of audience. And then there's a figure that comes up to him. And of course, it's Megan from the movie Megan. And then, of course, I think they had like 6 or 7 girls that were dressed up as Megan. And they did the famous Megan dance from the movie. And then the show was over. So that was pretty much what it was. I thought it was a neat experience.
It was really good. I enjoyed it. Half of the movies I did not see from Blumhouse, which I want to watch now. But really good props before you go into the theater. The photo op was great. Everything was good.
It was, yeah. I really did enjoy this one. This is definitely one that we're going to do again.
Right.
On closing night.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But really good, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Staging, all the props, and the Five Nights at Freddy's figures in the center. That was amazing.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that is pretty much it. So that's everything that we did. And of course, we saw the chainsaw chase out. I did film a little bit of that. And then we basically came home, and that was our second night of Halloween Horror Nights. So, pretty much that is it. So Mom, anything to say to wrap up, before we end this podcast?
I can't wait to see all the mazes again closing night. I'm really excited about closing night.
Yes, so we will be there on closing night. Is October 31st, so it's just a couple days away, like a week away.
A week away.
Yeah, and we are going to be there on closing night. I'm going to be doing a vlog video on closing night. And then, of course, we're going to do our full review of everything and give you our scores from the worst maze to the best maze.
And we might film some of the mazes there, too, if we have a chance.
If we have a chance. Yep. Yes. I wanted to experience all the mazes without filming. So whatever mazes we can do on closing night, I'll film a little bit inside it. That will be part of the vlog video. So yeah, so this is episode 7. I'm sorry it took so long to get it out, but as I said, I've been super busy with my normal daytime job. His
regular job.
Yes. And yeah, so I don't know when episode 8 is going to be coming out, but as I said, definitely follow me on my social media sites, on Facebook, on Twitter, that's now X, formerly known as Twitter, on my Instagram account. And if you want to follow my mom on her social media sites, I will have a link to her social media site. She has a X profile, which was formerly known as Twitter, and she also has an Instagram as well. So Mom, your final thoughts before I wrap up this podcast.
Second night, wonderful. We saw the mazes that we did not do opening night, so we did get all the mazes done.
We did all the shows, and we saw all the scare zones.
And then on closing night, we're going to do certain mazes that we really liked.
Bingo. We have planned out what mazes we are definitely going to be doing. So, alright guys, so I want to thank my mom for joining me again for this episode.
You're welcome.
And this is James A.K. Jimmypancakes signing off, and we'll catch you for the next podcast /video coming soon.